Good morning, everybody. It is 8:20 a.m., October 11th, 2022. This market's been very interesting to say the least. Let's just get right into looking at what we're doing here in the markets and go to the watch list here. Let's see what we got going here. So right now, off the bat, we still have an elevated VIX at 33. Okay, most likely anticipating the news that's coming tomorrow and Thursday, PPI and CPI, okay, and FOMC minutes. So right now, 30 years being bought, along with the 10-year, which should drive TNX. Interesting. As soon as I talk about this, the TNX comes up. We'll go to that. So Bitcoin up 0.29, gold's up 0.17, TNX is up 0.10, Dow's down 0.10, Russell's down 0.11, the dollar's down, ES is down 0.19, Nasdaq 0.23% down, silver 0.61, Ethereum down 1.131%, crude is down 1.42%. All right, that's what we got going in the futures market. All right. Now, as far as real quick, I'll only go over the leaders and the laggards of the stocks that I watch. Okay, so coin is up 5%, 0.77% pre-market. It got the target raised pretty heftily this morning or yesterday, and I think a price of 155 or something crazy like that. Not raised, actually was lower, but it was an outperform rating. So pretty interesting. Boeing, first flight in China in a long time on one of their jets, so that's up 0.37. And Netflix, but let's go to the laggards because that's not that important. Let's go Nvidia. Semiconductors are getting hit pretty hard. AMD down 0.74, Nvidia down 0.83, Meta is down 1.11%, and the biggest laggard is Baba, down 2.03% pre-market. Okay. Now, as far as the top sector stocks that I look at, there's not. I wouldn't call any leaders here because nothing's really up that much. So I wouldn't call anything a leader. Okay, so we're gonna go straight to the laggard. Okay, we got oil, obviously, Chevron, Exxon, and of course Qualcomm's a semiconductor down 1.40%, and Roblox is down 4.75%, part of the communication sector. All right, let's go over the sectors. All right, I wouldn't call this a leader, but it is industrials is up 0.06, which is not much, which Boeing falls under industrials. So let's go to the laggards. Let's see who's weak. That's of note. Financials down 0.29% pre-market. Semiconductors, no surprise, down 0.93%, and energy is down 1.26%. Okay, touch on energy really quickly. I'll show you a chart very quickly of why energy is down and why the news catalyst. Okay, so really quickly, I'm just going to show you guys oil because I trade oil. I don't talk about it a lot just because it's going to take a lot of time, but I'm going to show you something here. Check this out. I love my chart of the volume profiles, and this again, if anybody is just joining my stream, I want to point something out so everybody understands this chart very quickly. Okay, every blue volume profile is a week. Okay, every outlined profile is a month. Okay, each candle is a 4-hour candle. Okay, and then the white volume profile that I'm outlining here, that's this year. Okay, and then the heat map profile is a year ago. Okay, so the only thing we're going to concentrate on is this hot pink line. Now you notice crude came right up to it. Okay, that's the most traded price of this year, and that price is 93.72 in crude. Just to show you, it works on everything. So they couldn't get past this level, and then what do we have? We have a little bit of a sell-off, almost a monthly VWAP. That's why crude, and I actually had a short in crude yesterday because of this. Just to point out that that's why I love looking at the volume profile, most traded prices. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into the daily chart. I'll pull that up. Give me 1 second while I pull that up for you guys. Okay, let's talk about yesterday in the SPY. Okay, so we came down almost to the lows, but we didn't, right? Oh, the one last thing about crude, why it sold off as well. So it was like the most traded price of the year it hit, but then it came out that Russia said that they're open to diplomacy with Ukraine, which would be negative for crude. So with that level up there that I showed you, and that news catalyst is why I shorted crude yesterday. So diplomacy obviously is, bad for oil because of Russia. So that's the other reason. Just wanted to point that out. Okay. Also, that was why the market caught a bid here. When the SPY was kind of weak, when this popped up and had this wick here, that was because of that news. That news caught a bid in the market for the diplomacy news. Because obviously, what could that be foreshadowing for? That the war, call it the invasion of Russia into Ukraine, if they're open to diplomacy, that could mean the war could end, and that would be a bullish thing for the market. Okay. Now that that's out of the way, okay, I just wanted to talk about that because that's important, right? Fundamental news is always important. Okay, that's ultimately what moves our markets. I can have intraday trades, but really the overall market moves with overall macro news and fundamentals. Okay. All right. So SPY, we got weak, we gapped down, but then we didn't gap down yesterday because we came back into range because we opened it right here inside this candle Friday, right? But then we sold off, and then we kind of just hung around. Okay, so we just hung around. Other than that, we're weak, right? And right now, we're kind of like right at, let's see, we close at 360. We're right at settlement right now. We're right at the close right now. So nothing's really happened, okay? But I'll show you what happened in the futures chart. What's important now, okay? Let's go to the Qs. Now Qs, weaker. They're weaker, okay? Qs made a new low right here, 263, 64, okay? Also, so Qs are weaker, and then they close right at the lows, the previous low, at 266.97. Okay, so Nasdaq's been weaker. All right, so we're weak, and right now I don't have to go into granularity too much because we're waiting over on big news this week. We all know PPI, CPI, FOMC minutes this week. Okay, so the market's gonna kind of probably wait for that a little bit. Okay, before making its next move. Okay, because we all know if the CPI is under 8.0, market's gonna move higher. That's as simple as it gets. We're gonna catch a bid. If it's hot, we're going down. Simple as that. and I'll be ready with trades. Okay, so let's look at, oh, really quickly, let's go into the SPY's profile really quickly. I don't have to get granular with it, but most traded price of this month is 30.63. That hot pink right here, 33.63.51. That's this level will be the level of the line in the sand. If so, it could be you could come up to it. We can't get above it. You're gonna short there, okay? But if we do come above it, we held it, we could go higher. So keep that in mind. 363. And really quickly in the Qs, let's go to that level. Okay, in the Qs, most traded price of the month is 274.88. Okay, keep that in mind. And we have this important resistance level, 269.75. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay. All right, now let's look at some of our things that we normally look at to give a feel of what's going on in the market. Okay, let's look at that VIX. VIX, you can see what's happening. You don't have to be you don't have to, I mean, Stevie Wonder can see this. Okay, so draw a little trend here. That trend line, look at this. Boop, 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 boop. That's not good, right? That's all because of anticipation for the upcoming news. VIX is moving higher. We reached a high here, 34.82. We're going back towards that. Okay. Obviously, this is an inverse of the SPY, so the higher this goes, not good, right? But it also could be that volatility is just can move higher, can move up quick, down quick. It doesn't always mean that it's a direct inverse. It doesn't always mean that, right? But it usually is. So, let's look at the dollar. Okay, dollar is down a little bit today. Not much, but again, you notice a trend, right? Look at that. We're trending higher. Not good for equities. Okay, high dollar is not good. High dollar is not good for commodities. Not good for the equities. It's just not good. Okay, now, and lastly, my favorite leading indicator, my friend, the 10-year. Okay, so we were going like this when the market popped up, right? But look at what we did. We fell above this trend line briefly and then came above it. Now this is the smart money, remember? Bonds are the smart money. And this is the inverse as well as the SPY. So this was foreshadowing a little bit of a move up. We got it. But then it got smashed. And now look, it's going right back up. The high is 3.9 right now. Okay, right now TNX is at high is at 3.99, which is almost 4. Right now we're at 3.9. If this starts to rise, bonds are going to tell us. That's the short money of what's going to happen with the market. It's a leading indicator. Okay, now I don't know what obviously the CPI, PPI are going to be. We all know if it's bad, we go lower. If it's good, we go higher. So we'll find out in the TNX. Right now, we're up 0.36%. Okay, bond market was closed yesterday. So we'll see here. Okay, remember this is the smart money. All right. Let's move over to the market profile. I could talk about what I'm seeing. Okay, and which is very important. All right. So yesterday, okay, I mentioned the level 3670, which was, let me make sure of this chart here. Let's see here. Okay, that's the RTH. Go back to the extended hours. Okay, so yesterday, this node up here, it got changed, was what I said to everybody pre-market. This is the line in the sand, and the market hit it and we fell. I made a short of it too, yesterday, to show that level pre-market. That was the level, couldn't get up and we fell off, right? But however, things have changed now, and what has changed is, let's look at the profile of the last week, right? We got our gap, and then we push out here, and now we got some excess down here. Okay, so what I said yesterday was value up here needed to shift down. It has. So this is now the most traded price of the week. But remember, this is the 24-hour. This will probably move down in the RTH, because remember, this purple box is RTH. This is extended. So right now, 36.26. 36.26 is the most traded price of the week. Call it 5 days, the week. Okay, very important level. Okay, most traded price of the month is 36.50. Okay, so consider these levels a big wall. This is a big wall. Now remember, we have news coming. I don't expect much, but for today, this is your wall. Beginning of the wall is here. So 36.26 was the most traded price yesterday, and now it's the most traded price of the week. Okay, and then 36.50 is the most traded price of the month. So this area is our area, okay, that if we can't get above it, that's most likely going to be a short. If we can get above it, possibly we move higher. Okay, so what do we have now? Prices right here at the most traded price of the week, and yesterday's most traded. That's where it exactly is right now. Right, that's where it is for right now, and that price is 36.26. So we're right there at one of the levels already that I told you about. Okay, but this overnight session is right here, and right here is the high and the low. This is yesterday's session. So price is in the middle of yesterday's session right now, which means most likely we're going to balance today. Okay, that's what that means. This is telling me, okay, we tried to go lower, then we found buyers. Okay, so this is perfectly telling me, okay, we're going to wait for PPI tomorrow. Okay, so what happened? Right, look at the volume overnight. Those were shorts. This is the most traded price of the overnight right here. So when price came down here and we found buyers, and price came above these guys, they had the cover. They got squeezed, and now price is here. Okay, so how I determine balance is because no one's hurt. These guys already covered from the overnight. Okay, however, close was right here. Most traded price is here. Price is right here. Okay, so we're at the same spot as yesterday. So overnight's been taken care of. The shorts have been hurt. No one can get hurt right now overnight, besides maybe the longs that were, down here, but we'd have to come down here to hurt them. Okay, so all pointing to balance today. All right, let's look at the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq, you'll also notice price is right here. Okay, price is, the Nasdaq is at 109.69. 109.69. Okay, now same thing. Okay, now maybe I didn't show you guys this in the ES. I want to make sure I show you one other important level. Okay, yeah. All right, so this level now is a week high right up in here. Call it 336.67. Okay, notice how this was the high of the overnight session on Sunday into Monday, and it was the high of yesterday. So there's shorts there. Okay, we can come up here and we can possibly break and move higher. That's a important level now. That's an equal high. Okay, move back over to the Nasdaq because it's the same thing. That's going to be a very important level now. It's a nuanced level. Okay, right here. Call it 111.36. When you have overnights and then the RTH session right here, equal highs, that's a big level now. Okay, because if we move above it, we can go higher. Okay, so what do we have in the Nasdaq? All right, so here's the overnight, here's the RTA session of yesterday. We're in the middle of it. Here's price again, leading to balance. What did the Nasdaq do? Here, look at the composite profile. Okay, now RTH wise, this big wall up here is still the most traded price of the month and the week. Okay, but this today should move down to here. So here's the profile, and we did on the 24-hour session manage to move value lower, and that price is 110.10, which happens to also be the most traded price of yesterday, which is right here. So 110.10 is our first wall. Okay, if we stay below that, we probably just hang out down here today. If we can make a move, maybe we go to yesterday's highs. That's as simple as it is, everybody. That's the most traded prices, how they work. Okay, so we'll have to see. I see balance today. Okay, waiting for tomorrow. Okay, so I would say this is the bracket we're going to play in today. And that just means that's the probability, right? It doesn't mean that we can't go low or high. I'm just saying, with everybody waiting, it's probably an outside in trading day. Come down to the lows, you go long. Come up to the highs, you go short. So, all right, let's move on to the 60-minute futures chart. Let's get this bigger for you guys. All right, so as far as levels today, all right, in the futures, okay, so we have a key support level here in the ES. All right, that is 35.84. Okay, we double bottomed here in the hour, right here, that level hit us. This is also demand zone, this green box down here. Okay, we also had this descending wedge that got broken this in the overnight. Just pointing out some things. Okay, that just means momentum was slowing into this wedge and we broke out of it. Okay, this was an important level of resistance right here. This got broken. This 36.14 level got broke just prior to me getting on. Okay, where did it go? It went into a fresh supply zone. Look Look at that wick right into the supply zone, and now it got sellers. Okay, that's why these levels work. Okay, next resistance level is 36.35. Okay, then 36.50 is resistance, and then a very key level, 36.67, double top right here. There's not much resistance above here if we break that level. All right. So this double bottom is very key. Okay, that could be the bottom for today. Could be. Just pointing out the levels. Okay, it's pretty easy. Now, this is pretty orderly buying here every hour, right? So think about it. If we take out this low and we start working our way back, we're probably going back here. Okay, but we'll have to see. This market's a sell the rip market right now. Okay, so be mindful of that. Easier trades are shorts. All right, let's go to the Nasdaq. All right, and the Nasdaq. Let's see what we have going here. Okay, we have same thing, double bottom. Not as beautiful or not as on point, but it's still valid. 108.58 support. 108.58 support. This was a level here that was acting as resistance. 109.43. That level got broke. Where did we go? Right into this fresh supply zone. Look at that. It went right in barely and found sellers. Those supply and demand zones are something else. Sometimes it's just like, whoa. As soon as it went to the box, boom. Sellers, right? So we have above us a key resistance of 110.29. Have a double top right here as 110.68. Okay, then we have a pretty hefty supply zone here, but that's the key level right here. Is that bull bear? Call it 111.30. Okay, so like I said, I expect more or less this today, so staying in here. But I'm not saying we can't do this, but you act accordingly. Okay, you act accordingly, whatever the market's doing. I don't have a bias, so I like to say I flow with it like water. All right, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm sure go long, the bottom's in. Like, that ain't my style, so you're not gonna get that from me. All right, so let's go into the market profile really quickly and talk about a little bit of a scenario today that I can see happening. All right, so let's go over to that. Let's expand these, get a little more granular here. Again, I'm gonna go over it in very broad terms because the granularity doesn't need to be there all the time. Okay, price 36.18 right now. Okay, now guys, I mentioned this, the most traded price of the week, 36.26. Now last time I just showed you this, I said we were right there. Right now, look where we are. We're right here. We're below it. See, it acted as a wall. Okay, this is our wall, guys. Most traded price of the month, most traded price of the week. That's our wall. Okay, so if we can't get above this, we're gonna go back. We can get above it, it's gonna be tough sledding. This is no joke. This 36.50. That is not easy to get above. Okay, We got two supply zones ahead of us. It's just, not easy. But if we do, that's a different story, right? So, if we open and we come up here, now remember, off the open's volatile, so we could move above this most traded price of the week, break the overnight highs, come up here. This is the test, right? Here it is. Be pop. All right, maybe we reached the highs of yesterday. Okay. Most likely, I feel we'll probably go back, right, and possibly come back here to yesterday's lows and pop up and bounce for tomorrow. Okay. Another thing I could see too, push high, drop. Okay. Drop into this, let me get rid of this because this is not valid anymore. This supply zone. I don't want to confuse anybody. Okay. We can drop, dip under this 36.14, find resistance, come down. Now this would be yesterday's lows, right? Probably find a little support here, pop down to the overnight lows, which are right here, and I think we come back. So both of those scenarios, I think we come back to this level, we wait for tomorrow. Right? Obviously, the outside chance is if we just pop above here and we can break 36.7, 36.67, we're going higher. If we come down to the overnight lows, break it, hold it, come down here and we could go to 35.71 or lower. This is highly unlikely, but I have to put that as a scenario. I don't know what news can come out, okay? All right, let's move on to the Nasdaq. Not much of a different scenario, most trader price of the week. 110.10, right? Very important level. Okay, very important. So, what could happen today? The same thing, right? So remember, the ES is going to drive what I do in the Nasdaq if I do something. I just want to reiterate this. This is our big wall. Okay, so if we get through this wall, I'm going to now look at the Nasdaq to see what it's doing. Can it go get past this wall? And then we have this key resistance level here. So they need to work in tandem. I can't have one out of sync with the other. It makes trades less predictable. Okay, now that that's out of the way. Okay, let's look at this right here. Most traded price. Okay, so we're already here. We're selling off from this supply zone that it touched, which doesn't mean much to me. It's just we're in the middle of the overnight session. Okay, so we could pop up. Okay, take the overnight lows out. Highs, right? And say we come into this key level 1068, pop above, and I would almost see us not going to the highs, popping back here, going back and balancing. Okay, that's one. I can also see us coming right up to here, the most traded price of the week, into the supply zone, finding sellers again, coming down, breaking this level, going all the way down to the overnight lows, which is pretty much yesterday's lows, finding support, bouncing, trying, and coming right back up and balancing. Okay, not much different. This is the most likely scenarios, guys. This is the most likely. Okay, most likely. Now, I said this level's key, right? So I'm just going to draw a line. If we do this and break this level, we're going higher. No doubt. This level's huge. If we come down here, take out yesterday's low and the overnight low, and we come under it, we're going lower. Where can we possibly go? Maybe 107.37. I'm not calling for that. I'm just saying that is not likely for today. I have to put it there because it's a scenario, okay? All right. So remember, guys, I'm gonna say it like a beating a dead horse. This is the key for today, guys. If we can't get above 36.50, or if we find resistance anywhere in here and start going down, that's a short. If we do get above here, and we do get above here, we're gonna go higher in the market. This is all I'm looking at today for my trade. All right. I hope everybody has a good day today. Please, if anybody's new, please give me a like today. Hopefully, I showed you something you didn't know, maybe, or maybe something you want to learn more about. You can give me a comment. Please share it with any trading friends you have. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. And I hope everybody has a green day today. We want green days, right? So I will see everybody tomorrow. And I'm going to start looking at crude. And good luck, okay? And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Take it easy.